Okay, well, welcome everybody. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than we have. This isn't going to be a whole talking presentation because I'll be bringing you through some relaxation techniques for you to be able to just to work on that parasympathetic nervous system to just really relax, which I think we all need right now. So welcome to Let's Learn to Relax. Okay. All right, so today we're going to learn what it means to truly relax. Does anyone really know how to truly relax? Sometimes we just kind of go with the flow and think we're relaxing, but sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. And then when stress affects us, how can we use relaxation exercises to help heal the mind, body, and spirit? So I say heal because oftentimes uh, we really need to look at all the ins and outs and the whys and the hows of our stress and why things are stressing us out to really get into that healing part. And then we'll practice a few relaxation techniques, like I said, and then we're really going to focus on the awareness of why we're stressed out and what that means. And I know I talked about this a little bit in the first Stress 101. So we'll be really utilizing that awareness in this session. So what I want you to do right now is go ahead and just kind of feel the chair underneath you and just notice it. We're going to just start with intention. Just have an open mind, flexible, kind. Insert your value here, whatever your top value is. And then we're also going to set the intention of really having that awareness to become the student of ourselves as well as a teacher of our own self. So both are in us. We can learn a lot from just listening to our bodies and minds, and we can teach ourselves a lot of things about our mind and body and what stresses us out and why. So let's just take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, let's bring your shoulders up. And as you exhale, shoulders come back and down, chin in slightly. And just sit with good posture, taking in that oxygen. Take one more deep breath in. Then as you exhale, just wiggle your fingers and your toes and bring yourself back to the room. We'll get back to another more in-depth relaxation technique in just a moment. Okay, and so we know that stress is a normal response. Everybody has stress. And we can see that stress response here in red, and then we can see the relaxation response in blue. So we know that that cortisol is released and it does what it needs to do for us. So let's look at that physical side of stress. So the body, it's really that body's way of prepping for flight or fight. We have that cortisol pumping through us, and that's for survival, and we need that in time of danger in order to stay safe. And so I can give you an example that I'll be using throughout this presentation that can kind of correlate to whatever stressful situation, like sudden stress that you're going through. And then hopefully we can tie it all together and use it for any example at all. So let's say we're walking down the street and we just going on a nice walk. It's beautiful outside, and we step into the crosswalk, and we see a car coming. It looks like they're about to slow down, like per law they're supposed to, and allow us to cross, but we notice they don't. They're not slowing down. They're going through the crosswalk with us in there. And so what happens when with that fight or flight, we will bounce back, we'll jump back and stay safe, right? So we need that cortisol takes over. We don't have to tell our feet, hey feet, there's danger coming, you need to step back. We don't need to do that. Our body automatically does that. So we need that part of our brain, and we need that automatic response in that time of danger for survival. And so what does that mean as it relates to kind of after? How do we calm the physical effects of that stress response? Like, um, our pupils dilate, our heart rate is increasing, our the bronchioles dilate, which will increase our oxygen to the lungs. The blood flow will slow to our internal organs, of course, because we need that blood to go to our arms and legs for movement. Our digestion slows for that blood to get to where it needs to go. And then we don't want to go to the bathroom, so everything kind of constricts there. And then, of course, the blood moves to our limbs to prepare for safety. So how can we calm? So we've stepped back, the car kept going, we're okay. We always start with the breath. Okay, so we just take that deep breath in. That breath is always with us. We want to gonna calm that response down almost right away. And it's so often what we don't even notice it, but we'll take in a deep breath and go, oh my gosh, and let out a big sigh for that natural response. And that's a good thing. And then there's an and what that and dot 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 means is what you need is different for everybody. So you might need to jump up and down. You might need to run the rest of the way home. You might need to get on the phone and call someone. You might need to, fill in the blank. So that's what those dots represent. So we're really going to start with that slow, deep breathing. Like I had mentioned, it's with us all the time. That activates the vagus nerve that runs to the diaphragm. And we need to really engage that diaphragm in order to really take those deep breaths in. And that's what engages the parasympathetic nervous system. And that is the relaxation response. We want to increase that oxygenation to our body, and that really can interrupt the panic response. So there are times where I feel like crying and, something happened and I feel like crying, but I know I'm walking into a meeting or I'm about to give a presentation and I really need to not panic or cry. And so I'll take in deep breaths and let them out. And I'll keep doing that until I'm feeling better because I'm engaging that parasympathetic nervous system. And so it really is that belly breathing. So good posture. Let's take in another deep breath. Shoulders come up, shoulders back and down as you're exhaling, chin in, and put one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And we're just going to breathe, taking in a deep breath in, feeling your belly rise and your chest rise, and exhaling fully. Continue to do that. Imagine each in breath, you're filling like a big glass of water. Your whole torso is the big glass. You're filling it from the bottom of the glass, close to your hips, all the way up to your chin, and then and exhaling as you need to. And just notice maybe the temperature of the air as you inhale, the temperature of the air as you exhale. And set your intention to kind of really be curious about this next breath that you take in, remembering that you've never taken this breath before. It's brand new. Just notice how it makes you feel. Kind of taking it in, your next breath all the way down to the tips of your toes. And then exhaling fully when you're ready. Maybe noticing the breath like a wave coming onto shore, and the exhale as a wave retreats back into the ocean. And if you actually make some noise while you breathe, it actually sounds like an ocean wave. So maybe I can give you an example. So everything on in the universe has that same rhythm of contraction and exhalation. Just notice how you're feeling. Maybe with every exhale, just feel your shoulders drop a little bit further. If you notice any stressful spots in your body, just breathe right into that tension or stress. Then as you exhale, just exhale any tension or stress that you have. Good. Let's take in a couple more deep breaths here. Good. And on your last exhale, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring yourself back to the seat beneath you. Open your eyes when you're ready. And then bringing yourself back to the presentation. How do you feel? Thumbs up? Good. Yeah, our breath is with us all the time. That is our number one tool that we can use. It's very simple, but not so easy sometimes when we're stressed and when we're almost in that panic. But it's definitely our top tool. So as it relates to, oftentimes we're told to take it easy, just relax. Oftentimes patients on the recovery from illness, just go home and rest up, and we don't always know how to practice this skill. And even the ancients knew that relaxation is a paradox. It's not that simple. It's easy, but not simple. And just like um, relaxation techniques or mindfulness techniques and meditation and anything that you do, it takes practice, and even relaxation takes practice. We have to practice it in order to be able to know what it feels like and to be able to call out to it, and be able to utilize what works for us in those times that we're stressed. And then becoming more are we more reactive or more responsive as it relates to our bodies and stress, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So um, our reaction to stress is very important. So it's never going away. We need that part, our lower part of our brain, in order to keep us safe, like I had mentioned, in times of quick reaction, that we need quick reaction for survival. But there's also other types of stress that happens where we don't really need that quick response, but our brain goes to that quick response. Like we get angry at something, or something happens. Um, so we know that stress is never going away. So our empowerment really is in our response. So between the stimulus and the response, or the stressor and the response, there's a space. And in that space is really our power to choose our response. And then in that response, or that choice, really lies our growth and our freedom. So it's really noticing when something stressful happens, noticing and really becoming aware of what am I choosing right in this moment, and how am I choosing to react. So, like I mentioned, the body uses that cortisol for that survival. We're walking down the street, we jump back, we're safe, and we're still okay. And then we have that physical, emotional stress that happens. So we can react as a reaction here. We can react really positive. We can say, take a deep breath and go, oh my goodness, I'm safe, and then keep walking, right? Or we can have a really negative reaction. Like we can react right now and start kicking the sand, and start pounding our fists at the car and yelling at the car as it drives away. So, kind of thinking of what is a positive reaction, what is a negative reaction, and just reflecting on that as a stressor that has happened in the past. And there really is no judgment in the good or bad or positive and negative reaction. It's just really learning. It's really learning what makes you react positive, what kind of stressors make you react more negatively. I know I have two boys in hockey, and one of the rules is that if something happens during a game, don't even contact a coach until 24 hours after. So that's the rule. That's the number one rule. The coaches don't want to hear from you. They don't want you to come to the locker room after a game. They don't want anything to do with you until 24 hours after. So they built in that space for us. So they know how spirited hockey parents can be. So they've they've already put in that space. And then 24 hours later, you've been able to think about it and come in with some um, you know, cool hands at the time and actually talk rationally, or not. Right? 24 hours later, you might be like, oh, it was just a game. It's not a big deal, type of thing. So um, that space is so very important. And so it's remembering that positive or negative reaction. We're looking at just learning, and being aware and becoming that student and teacher of ourselves. So we reflect on that reaction, and then and no judgment. We just use a lot of self-care and self-compassion to help us through however we react to it as well, and then also help us to heal from the stressor itself. So um, it's always a good idea, and I know I did a little bit of the value work in the previous session. So when you're thinking of your top value, you're thinking about why it's your top value, and then when you're stressed out, what value was crossed. Because some people, you might talk to somebody and say, I'm so stressed out about this. This is so stressful. And they might say, that's not a big deal. Why are you stressed? And then vice versa. So just kind of doing the research behind it, what stresses out one person doesn't even phase another person. And so it's really interesting how when you kind of get to the core of the reason why you're stressed about what you're stressed, it's usually because a value was crossed. So I can take that person who drove through the crosswalk. That's not only the law, but it also was very unkind. And my top value is kindness. I want to be kind to people, and I want other people to be kind to me. So if I would react negatively and wanting to talk to them or wanting to yell at them, it would be because my value of kindness was crossed. So that's one way to reflect on it, like what value was crossed. Another one is perspective taking. So if we had the chance to be able to, like if that person ended up going through the crosswalk and stopping and going, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Um, you know, we could get an explanation like what happened. Maybe they were on the way to the hospital because somebody was transferred there, like a loved one, or maybe they were just having a really bad day and they were just so had such tunnel vision that they weren't even noticing anything around them, or fill in the blank. We just never know what could have happened, and we also need to know, and because kind of looking at how you wake up in the morning. Do you ever wake up setting the intention that you're going to run every crosswalk, even if there's a or if there's a pedestrian in that crosswalk? No. So my guess is that person who did you wrong or did something didn't wake up um, thinking that he or she was going to do that. So really looking at the other person's intention. Even when I drive a lot in the cities and people are cutting people off all the time, and that it I you oftentimes that causes like road rage. But for me, I'm just so happy it's me that was cut off and not somebody else who's maybe not having a good day. I always just imagine that they need to get somewhere. They need to get to the hospital, or they need to get to work, or they're late, and I'm like, yes, please just go ahead, and just trying to put a lot of things into perspective, and and know that it wasn't their intention to do something wrong. And looking at your own day. So I know I know if something goes wrong in my day, and I'm having a really good day, I will have a different reaction to that stressor than if I was having a really good or bad day. So either way, like if I take the wrong exit off the interstate and I'm having a really good day, it's not really a big deal. I just, find a way to get back on. If I'm having a really bad day already, that just feels like another stressor. So really looking at the mood of yourself going into those stressors. So we know that inner struggle really leads to our strength of, when we become a teacher and a student of ourselves, we do become uh, we become stronger because we're learning, and we're not only learning what stresses us out, but we're learning what helps us to kind of get back to calm. And then we know that there's a positive side to stress. So we want to welcome the stress by recognizing its response to something we care about, like that value. What's a positive motivation behind the stress when something stresses you out? And why does this matter? We often talk about right now, COVID and the positive motivation behind that stressor is we want people to be really, really healthy, and we want people to recover if they do get COVID, or we want to prevent people from getting COVID. And why that matters, because you care, you care about people, you care about your students, you care about your coworkers, and that does matter. You don't want anyone to get hurt or sick. So when we embrace the stress, we can transform fear into courage, isolation into connection, and suffering into meaning. And Kelly McGonigal, if you ever want to YouTube any of her videos, she talks a lot about the positive side of stress, and she gives really good examples and has a really good take on it. Okay, so anyone feeling pretty stressed today? Any reason or any thoughts? Are you all kind of relaxed? Anybody been stressed like in the last week about anything, or heard about anything stressful? Yeah, okay. So we're just going to kind of take that moment and just kind of be in that moment of kind of feeling, that stressor, and just kind of take a moment to just think about it, and like, oh, that's stress, that's stressful, and kind of get it into your mind and into your body, and just notice how it changed from that, that relaxation stress of when we were taking, or that relaxation response when we were taking those deep breaths, to now kind of thinking about something that's stressful. We're just going to become aware of it. So the first thing is just acknowledge it. You know what? Oh, I wish I could go back to that breathing. It felt so much better. But right now I feel stressed, and I feel stressed because she made me think of this stressful thing. And it makes me stressed because because this happened. And then we want to really look and name the feeling that's happening in the body. So you can even put your hand over, like, oh man, when I think of this, my head hurts, or my shoulders hurt, or my stomach hurts, or where do you feel it? And mention it, like, I feel really tight in my shoulders, I get a headache, my stomach feels icky, and just put your hand over wherever you feel it, and then just say, ouch, this hurts, this is really painful, and I feel this in my body. And the next thing is to really bring in that common humanity. So, and just, repeating, of course, anyone going through this would feel this way. So you're not alone in your struggle. Everyone in the world, as being human, has stressors and gets stressed out. So sometimes we do feel like we're so alone. We feel like, oh, I shouldn't be stressed about this, but you're not alone in that. And then the fourth thing is self-care. So, what I need is, I need to call a friend or go for a walk or punch a pillow or scream into a pillow or take a bath or, just kind of fill in the blank. Everybody is different in what could help. Maybe it's taking a few deep breaths. Maybe it's, asking somebody to kind of massage out a knot that you have. So kind of self-care, what is it that I need? And so these are really the steps of awareness as it relates to our stressors and feeling them and understanding them and really allowing ourselves a lot of space and time and self-care in order to the take care of ourselves in the best way. And we can really learn a lot from this, especially as it sometimes we go through our day and go through the motions and go, we don't even take the time to even think about our stress and why we're stressed. And it kind of just keeps building up and building up. But when we stop and say, you know what, I'm stressed, just saying it, I am stressed, it does a lot for our body. The words I am is very, very powerful. And so you can take a deep breath and go, I am stressed. And then maybe taking another deep breath and say, I am calm. And you can keep doing that. Keep um, repeating the word that you need to be. Like if you want to be relaxed or if you want to be calm, then as you're going through this, you can, breathe into that stress, breathe into that feeling, breathe into that ouch and that hurt and that pain, and then breathe out whatever you need to hear. So it's so very, very powerful. And so, as it relates to that awareness, oftentimes stress comes from change. Everything is changing all the time. Nothing is static. Every person, you, every moment of every day, everything is in a constant change. Nothing's going to stay the same. But we try to control change, and we want to control this change because staying the same equals security, and change can be very scary. And so, when something is about to change, like now kids are coming back to school, um, or maybe with the distance learning, you had to learn a whole new computer system and all of that. I mean, we're really looking at, both some of the simple changes all the way to the hard changes that happened. We really want to reflect on those changes, and sometimes even look into the past and how we've dealt with some changes. Like, I didn't know how to um, download Zoom videos onto YouTube videos in order to be able to send out uh, those links so you guys could actually use them. And it took me a long time. I was asking my 16-year-old all the time to help me edit, even though it was right in front of me and really easy. It took me a few times, and then this last time I told him I did it, and he was so proud of me, and so it was so stressful, but we learn and we change and we kind of adapt to those changes, and then we can be really proud of ourselves for learning, and then so when we have our next big change that happens, we can look back and say, oh yeah, remember that? It took me a while. It was stressful, and I persevered and I did it, and now I know how to do it. So it'll be the same way. But reflection can be really, really hard. We know that there's a lot of unhealed trauma, and I know you guys deal with a lot of students, and we know the research shows that 8 out of 10 people are dealing with that you meet. 8 out of 10 people that you meet every day are dealing with unhealed trauma, and we just know that you're not alone on this journey. But reflecting on that trauma and kind of why you react and all those things can really lead us back to a place of of struggle, and especially in our patterns of dealing with things, and that can be really, really tough, and that can be really scary to kind of figure that out and actually put ourselves into that place and into that moment. So you don't ever have to do this alone. There's always, counseling and therapy, and talking to a friend and somebody that you really trust about it. But also knowing that other people or somebody that you meet may have some unhealed trauma that they're dealing with and don't know how to cope. So it's always a good time to reflect on if you're sitting in fear, and if you're really ready to reflect on it and go there, which can be really, really scary. So we're going to do a self-compassion in just a moment, but we know that self-compassion facilitates resilience by helping us react to any negative situation in a very healing way. So when something um, is really stressful, and instead of saying something very critical about ourselves, we can, like if something bad happens and we say, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, why did I do that? We can come back and say, okay, is that true? Am I stupid? No, I'm not stupid. um, that this is what happens. Kind of giving yourself that moment of clarity and truth, and kind of allowing yourself to treat yourself like you would a really good friend, or a student or a child. And when we notice it, we say, ouch, this hurts. We take the time to be like, oh, be in the moment, and allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. And it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to sit in that sadness for a while. There's a lot of healing in sitting in that muck and just being there and feeling it, and remembering that your truth is greater than your suffering. So especially with those critical statements that we say about ourselves to ourselves all the time, kind of that reel of negativity sometimes, in that critical statement we would never say to anyone else, but we're constantly saying it to ourselves. And so always bringing the truth out as it relates to that critical statement and saying, no, that isn't true. um, kind of, and we know our truth is greater than the suffering. Naming it, name it to tame it. So we want to say, I'm sad, and to really feel it, feel that sadness. And then we know that this is very transformative in being able to have that self-compassion toward ourselves, and to have self-care and self-compassion is a genuine act of kindness for ourselves, and we reflect that out to others. So let's do a self-compassion exercise. So I'll have you sit back and rest, taking in that deep breath in. And as you exhale, shoulders back and down, chin in slightly. Good posture, just feeling any movement that you need to do. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Just taking a few moments to think about someone or something, some being that you really care about. And in your mind's eye, just really think about this being, and know and kind of think about how much love and support and compassion and healing and health you want this being to be. And I want you to repeat these words to yourself, to this being. May you be healthy. May you be well. May you have peace. And may you live with ease. May you be healthy. May you be well. May you have peace. And may you live with ease. If there's other words that you want to add, feel free to do that. Remember to hold this being with you. May you be healthy. May you be well. May you have peace. May you live with ease. Now let's add you into that circle of compassion and repeat these words to yourself. May we be healthy. May we be well. May we have peace. May we live with ease. May we be healthy. May we be well. May we have peace. May we live with ease. Remembering to bring in any words that you want to add. May we be healthy. May we be well. May we have peace. May we live with ease. Now, what I want you to do is just kind of set that being aside and focus all your attention on yourself and repeat these words to yourself. May I be healthy. May I be well. May I have peace. May I live with ease. May I be healthy. May I be well. May I have peace. May I live with ease. Just go ahead and take in a deep breath, kind of thinking about almost like your breath is a golden healing light. And as you take a deep breath, just allow that golden healing light spread all the way down to your toes, tips of your fingers, the top of your head. And then as you exhale, just exhale that golden light of healing onto your being, onto that other person, other being that you care about. Deep breath in for you, golden healing, and exhale for them. Inhale for you, and exhale for them. If you're having a particularly hard day or hard time, you can change that ratio, maybe 2 for me and 2 for you. Maybe 5 for me, and maybe 1 for you. Maybe 10 for me, maybe 1 for you. Whatever you need. So let's take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing yourself back to the room. Opening your eyes if they're closed. I may have put a couple of you to sleep, and that's okay. Yep, feel free to stretch out a little bit if you need to. Good. How do you feel? Good. Got some thumbs up. Okay. Good. So I know how difficult this can be. So we do have a lot of resources for you. Penny George Institute of Health and Healing, we have a mindfulness workshop. It's a 6-week workshop and it's virtual. And we talk about, all of what we talked about today and a lot more. And then we also have a resilient life workshop. And then also the importance of talk therapy, seeing a counselor, a therapist, so very important, talking to a friend, and then also resiliency writing. may have mentioned this in one of our previous presentations, but resiliency writing is so, so very powerful. It's if you're really, really stressed out about something, getting that pen to paper and just writing all those details down. Because what happens when we're kind of ruminating or even having a hard time sleeping because we're ruminating, your brain is trying to figure it out, trying to come up with an answer, and it can't. It can't when you're trying to remember all those details. So just taking that time, if it takes 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, getting all of those details down on paper. Research shows, and I've done this. It's just kind of amazing thing will happen where your brain will almost give you a sigh, like, okay, good, it's out, it's all here, it's all in this paper, all these details. I can come back to it whenever I need to, and then let it be for just a day or two, and then come back and rewrite, because your brain has had time to come up with a solution, perhaps. And so rewrite about it and see what happens. It's really, really, a powerful tool. So resiliency writing, get it down on paper. So some final thoughts. I'm going to, looks like we'll have some time. I'm going to do another relaxation for you when we're done with this. So some final thoughts is relaxation takes practice, and we can become a student and teacher of self to really become aware of what works for us and what doesn't. And inner wisdom can be experienced with our stress and stressors, being mindful of our thoughts, values, feelings, words, and allowing ourselves to be in that moment. And then we can access this wisdom to be on our own wellness journey, bringing up that awareness again of what will work best for us through self-care. And then self-compassion leads to healthy choices for ourselves, and that leads to living your best life. And so that's what it's really all about, especially in our struggle. So are there any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, nothing there. If you would like to stay on, I usually end this presentation with a body scan, which sometimes can put people to sleep if I haven't put you to sleep already. Um, and and then what I usually do is just drop off after that. So if anybody wants to ask any questions now, would be a good time. I'm going to check the chat really quick. Um, and and then if you want to stay on, you can stay on for the last the body scan. Anybody want to stay on for the body scan? Thumbs up. Okay, okay, good. So let's do body scan. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to see, I don't think I put on a picture, so I'll go back to this one. Okay. So what I want you to do is go ahead and get into a really comfortable position and just relax, taking in some deep breaths. See you later, Anne. What I want you to do on this is, with every single deep breath that you take in, I want you to think of a specific body part, and I'll actually lead you through that. And then as you exhale, I'm going to have you imagine that body part is sinking a little deeper into wherever you are. This is a really good uh, relaxation tool to use if you're having a hard time sleeping and you're kind of stressed and tense and you're kind of sleeping like a board. It's a really good one to bring yourself back to your mind-body connection. And so, so go ahead, you can close your eyes if you'd like. On your next deep breath in, I want you to think of all the muscles in your eyes and your jaw and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just imagine all the muscles around your eye and jaw, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think of all the muscles in your neck and shoulders and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel those muscles warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your arms and hands and fingers and fingertips and breathe right into them. As you exhale, just feel those muscles in your arms and hands and fingers sinking a little deeper, getting warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, breathe right into your heart. And as you exhale, just feel your heart getting a little bit open and warm and loved. Next deep breath in, think of your whole torso and breathe right into it, your chest, your abdomen, your back. As you exhale, just feel your whole torso sinking a little deeper, warm, relaxed, and heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your hips and your pelvis. Breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel the muscles in your hips and pelvis sinking a little deeper into the chair beneath you, warm and relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, think about your bottom and the top of your legs, and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel your bottom and your thighs and the tops of your legs warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about your knees and your shins and your calves and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel the muscles in your knees and your calves and your shins warm and relaxed and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your ankles and your feet, your toes, and the spaces between your toes, and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel the muscles in your ankles and feet and toes, spaces between your toes, warm and relaxed and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about your whole body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, and breathe right into it. As you exhale, just feel your whole body sinking a little deeper into the chair beneath you, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. And take the next few breaths and just do a body scan, just noticing any areas of tension or stress. Breathe right into those areas. And as you exhale, think warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Okay, I'm going to drop off now. So spend as much time in this space as you need to. Have a good night.